recently finished watching a little show, I don't know if you've heard of it, perhaps, maybe, called
The Amazing Digital Circus!
Now, this show was actually a production by Glitch, which, if you guys know, they've done a bunch of indie animation. And this was actually one of the shows that they had, not their first, definitely not their first, that actually kind of took off a little bit, a lot. And I was debating while I was watching the show if I should make a character review before I finished it. But then I finished it and it was like, you know what? It's better to do it now. So I must preface this review by saying there will be spoilers because Spanish took no chances and no prisoners, and he put absolutely everybody in here. The categories for reviewing these characters are as follow. Main characters. Characters of significant importance, but not main characters. Normal ass NPCs. And then absolute shitters.
Dude, you ruined it.
So there will be spoilers for The Amazing Digital Circus. If you have not watched it, I suggest you click off in 3, 2, 1.
What the f am I looking at?
The consequences of our actions! And it's only going to get worse from here.
Let's begin by talking about the main cast, shall we? If any of you guys were alive and conscious during the early 2000s or late 90s, when computers first started becoming a thing, you would have probably played one or more computer games. The Amazing Digital Circus's aesthetic is very much reminiscent of old school computer graphics, of when 3D animation was at its infancy. And it actually makes really good use of that aesthetic in the show because things glitch, they clip through things, they spawn in, it's actually really funny. The show in itself surrounds a cast of people who have been transported to this digital space called The Amazing Digital Circus by some way or another. They always mention some sort of headset, and who are going through their daily life there by going on adventures, but at the same time low-key trying to figure out if there's a way out of it. But what I want to talk about is the designs for the characters, because I do think that the circus has a decently unique aesthetic, and I think that they actually managed to work through a lot of very common 3D animation limitations, and made a very memorable cast of characters, who are all very goofy, and very fun to look at. We begin with...
What the f is going on?
Pomni. What can I say about this fucking clown that hasn't been fucking said already?
I'm not a child, you don't have to hype me up.
If you guys have ever played like any old school computer games, there's always like a character there that you either play as or that talks to you. Pomni is that character. It's like a little clown thing, stark white skin, super big eyes, like really big pink cheeks. But it's also got a lot of really interesting features. Namely, there's a jester theme for Pomni that I don't think has been quite done this way. Usually characters like this will have like some sort of like either absolute goblin or sex appeal component. I think that Pomni's pretty middle of the road. And it's such a cute design too. Like I remember when I first saw like the concept work for the show, I was like, what is this creature? Because it was all over my Twitter feed. It was this fucking stupid thing. I saw people drawing Pomni as the most curvy thing on the planet, as a goblin, as this, and it just has a really memorable silhouette. Pomni is stupid friend-shaped, not angular in the slightest. Even stuff like arms and legs are a little bit noodly, not super. I'm pretty sure the clown still has knees, but it still has a lot of softness to the character, and the only like really angular things about Pomni, if you've seen the show, is the hair, and if the clown is fucking feeling a certain type of way, fangs do appear. And I've always found that very funny. And I think that Pomni communicates the character so well in the sense that it's like anxious as shit. Always hunched over, the hands are usually clenched, the knees are turned inward, they're like always slumping a little bit. But it's really funny because for a character that's so nervous and so anxious, their theme and their vibe is really not. A clown's vibe should usually be like bright, cheerful, peppy, high energy, entertainment. Pomni is not it. Pomni has a like significantly subdued personality, very inquisitive, very anxious, but the design is so bright, so colorful, and has a lot of like really fun details, color asymmetry, wacky pupils, even like the cute blushy cheeks. It's very interesting to like see the juxtaposition between what Caine considers someone's mental image to be and what their actual personality is. If your world is shaped around your main character, Pomni is the main character for the show, the circus as it exists in the show, it's a perfect fit. It's a very colorful space, but something about it is like liminal and off-putting. But yeah, I actually really like Pomni's design. It's definitely very striking. It's also very simple and very memorable. We're not working with our ridiculously detailed design here. We're working with a very strong silhouette. And I think that's actually something that Goose excels at, is making really, really good silhouettes, because you see the clown and you're like, well, that's a clown. It's a little jester thing. What do you want? So I think Pomni's great. And as a main character, super solid.
It's 'cause it's funny. I do everything 'cause it's funny. 'Cause I'm the funny one.
Oh, this cocksucker. Now, Jax is actually a pretty important part of the show for many reasons, mainly story ones. But if Pomni is the anxious wreck, goody two-shoes main character, Jax is the complete opposite.
Huh?
Jax, visually, has a very distinct style in that this stupid rabbit emulates Rubber Hose animation to a T. And I think everything about the way the character is made, how it moves, even how Jax emotes, tends to be super geared towards that old school animation style, which I have a feeling was very, very fun to do in 3D. Because I see how Goose draws Jax, very goofy, very angular, very like, haha. But then in the show, this stupid rabbit has so many expressions. It's actually, I believe, the most expressive character in the show. Probably only Caine is second, because I don't know if you guys can tell by the body language.
Oh no! It looks like I've taken Ragatha and dropped her in the deep fryer.
Jackass. Like, I would say that Jax's body language is kind of aggressive. It's a little bit closed off, kind of tilted. And like Pomni, Jax has a very bright color scheme. It's like fucking bright purple, red overalls, yellow gloves, and a perpetually plastered on goofy smile. Although one of my favorite things that I saw when I was watching the show is whenever like Jax gets upset, the eyes get gigantic. Like, mouth closes, eyes huge, and it's like looking into like the face of a cat that will fuck up your shit, you know? I love the design, though. I found it very eye-catching. Like, the first time I watched the pilot, I was like, the rabbit thing? I like the rabbit thing. There's just something so charming about the design, despite the fact that you know for a fact that the character's an asshole.
Did I pick a bad time?
This acting is phenomenal.
And it also made me laugh a lot when, like, the second episode dropped. People were like, oh my god, why is Jax so mean? It's like, no, you don't get it. The rabbit's always meant to be mean. It wasn't nice at all to see how Jax interacted with anybody in the first episode. I think he, like, kicked Gangle down a hole or something. Incredibly gangly, very long limbs, long ears, very expressive. But something about Jax feels closed off, and that actually is on purpose, I do believe. And I would say that Jax is probably visually an opposite to Pomni, because Pomni's very short, Jax is super, super tall. Pomni's very round, Jax is very lean. And also the personalities differ quite a bit, because Pomni's an anxious wreck, and Jax is like the picture of confidence, at least outwardly. The design is baller, though. It's very simple, but it's super memorable, and again, I think that's something that Goose is very good at doing, is like just giving things a solid silhouette and a very memorable time. I do think that Jax is one of those characters that I'm not about to forget anytime soon, especially just from like visuals alone. And the funny thing is that the Amazing Digital Circus is not a show for children. The aesthetics might make it feel like it's a show for children, but this is a very adult show.
I want the ability to have sex.
No way. Are we finally having this conversation?
Oh, forget it. Let's go to an intermission.
Gamer subs! A ridiculous amount of flavors, 100 servings per fucking tub, good, clean energy. No crash out, no headache, no feeling like garbage the next day because you fucking chugged too many. Not to mention, this shit is 40 cents per serving, guys. It's literally the most affordable energy drink on the market. You can also try out AFK if you have trouble eating, or just do the caffeine-free versions. It's great flavor, an amazing way to kick soda. And may I present to you the brand new bleach flavor! If you do want to try any of the stuff out, though, make sure you use code KINKIMATION at checkout for 10% off your entire order, or go to gamersubs.gg/KINKIMATION. All right, ad break over.
You completely lose sight of who you are and why you're even alive, and when you reach your breaking point, something really terrible can happen. But that's not something we need to deal with today.
Ragatha, I love Ragatha. Ragatha is such a, like, soothing character to have in the show. So, like, you know how, like, every show kind of needs, like, an emotional anchor? I believe that between Ragatha and King, that is what you get. Now, Ragatha's design definitely points towards children's media. It's a Raggedy Ann doll with a missing eye and a dress with a ton of like patches on it. Super cute. The amount of lewds I've seen of this character though. Like, I think I've seen more Ragatha at this point than Pomni, and that's saying something. Because I've been around, alright? You guys know I make my rounds on the internet. Ragatha has a lot of these. I do believe that the design is, just like Jax and Pomni, fairly memorable. The color scheme is phenomenally planned out, to die for pretty. It's just like the red hair that kind of looks like licorice, very striking, and she has like a very like cute periwinkle dress, and it's covered in patches and like little like brown shoes almost. I also do like that there, again, is a few wardrobe changes throughout the story. I'm not gonna cover them today, probably, because Jax also had a few. Every circus member does. But I do like, for the most part, that they kept the, like, ragdoll body. Kind of like mitten-like hands, minus, like, the one finger and, like, the thumb. The, like, stubby legs. The, like, triangle nose. But the funny thing with Ragatha, if you watch the show, is if you see Ragatha's lip syncing at any point, it's the only thing that moves like a digital object. Ragatha looks like a doll, but when they speak and like when the fucking character does anything, the mouth moves like a PNG that you like deform, right? Again, much like the other two, we'll call these the humans in the show. The design is incredibly simple, but very, very pretty, very memorable. Good silhouette. Some humanoid is here and there was actually very good for the show. Cause like, I think Pomni is too goblin coded and Jax is too rubber hose coded. So part of your brain is gonna feel like, oh, cartoon character. Ragatha kind of like brings in a human element that I think is kind of necessary for the show. As we go through, the cast members are gonna get goofier and goofier and goofier, but something you'll notice is that most of the humans, with some notable exceptions, have some form of humanoid in them, if that makes sense. I really like Ragatha's design overall, and I found her presence fairly soothing in the show. Toxic people pleaser. I think you can see that in the character's face, though. Again, the designs do denote personality. Ragatha, I think, is the closest match to her personality in terms of visual. It's a ragdoll. It's something that, like, kids throw around and kind of, like, use and abuse. And Ragatha, as a character, is very similar. Is a people pleaser, is someone who is used to being taken advantage of or used to not having their way and being just tossed and turned to please other people. You'll understand if you watch the show as well, but I think that unlike Pomni and Jax, I feel like Ragatha's personality shines a lot more through the design than any other. I also like the fact that it's not like a super clean doll design. A lot of patches, an eye is missing, the hair is like misshapen, almost like a child took to it with scissors. So it's not like the most pristine thing. It's very lovable. Like, the scrungliness of it makes it very, very lovable as a design, I find.
It's called a manic episode, and you're getting 3 more seasons. Anyway.
Gangle, I love. Okay. Fucking sadness and crying. Gangle's design is actually one of the most visually interesting in this show. And I have to imagine how Gangle was animated. There has to be some sort of collider that ribbon is wrapped around, because a lot of the things that you use to move Gangle could be done with fabric collisions, but they need like full use of like hands and legs for this character. So I'm imagining that there is like an invisible object, some sort of noodle that's like in the middle of the ribbon that makes up a big part of Gangle's torso. I actually really relate to Gangle as an artist myself, but unfortunately, Gangle did not particularly see dreams realized in the show. I do, however, like that they ended up with Zooble, because I found that couple very sweet. I thought it was super cute, and I was like, yes, finally, because I feel like everybody except Zooble ganged up on Gangle at some point.
Is everybody okay?
No.
Oh, man. Poor Pomni.
This was Jax's punching bag for the longest time, okay? It's like, it made me so sad. But the design itself is actually, much like Goose's other cast and crew for the Amazing Digital Circus, painfully simple, but very well executed. Gangle is a character that kind of represents theater mask, right? You have the tragedy mask and the comedy mask. And the gag with Gangle is that almost every episode, the happy mask, the comedy mask, breaks somehow, because it's made of ceramic. The one episode where Gangle gets a mask that is not made out of ceramic, that doesn't break, it ends up that they take it off. They don't break it, but they toss it, right? Because toxic positivity does not suit this character. I think that part of like the thing that makes Gangle very appealing is the fact that we have leaned into the espresso depresso with this character. Like always hunched over, arms and legs tucked inwards, the perma tears. They also have this thing that I love, that when Gangle is happy, ooh mouth, that's the cutest thing on the planet. But yeah, I feel a certain type of way about Gangle, and I do think that Gangle's design is one of the more creative ones in the show. And Gangle is one of those characters in the circus that there's still a human shape. It's like 2 arms, 2 legs, and a head, but the body's super weird. And those are the ones that start feeling more like less cartoon character, more an abstract digital object, if that makes sense. And I like seeing like the difference in the masks. I like seeing the personality shift. I just enjoy seeing the way that the body language works. Also, she was in the Fortnite commercial and made me laugh way too fucking hard. I'm so sorry. He's like, oh no, you're not invited. It's like, why are we being mean to Gangle?
You killed the only person I've ever loved. Now I'm going to kill you.
Zooble is great. Zooble is one of those characters that when I first saw the circus, I was like, this has to be some sort of like gag or joke character, right? But as the series went on, they really grew on me because the personality for this character was really interesting. And I do think that the body and the design for Zooble also kind of shows that off. Zooble is very much a like build a creature type of scenario, right? I don't know if you guys noticed when you watch the show, but there's no episodes where Zooble doesn't trade a part in for something different. The main things that remain the same is that they always have like this little bean torso and the triangular head, but they change the antenna, the designers change the arms and the legs. In fact, actually, Caine mentions that Zooble has a lot of spare parts. And it kind of like just shows the versatility for the character in the design.
I'm starting to think that maybe the ability to change is fine. Not needing to commit to one thing all the time.
Now, what Zooble also has in the design for the character is a lot of chaos. It is not a smooth silhouette in the slightest. There's like crazy straw arms, the wing, the antenna being like super jagged and pointy, a lot of different colors and a lot of different textures, but it's balanced really well. You know the Nickelodeon era of animation around the time when like Hey Arnold came out? That there was like a lot of very abstract looking characters. I think Zooble kind of fits that vibe. And Zooble also kind of has like almost like a desktop assistant vibe, but like a wacky one for like a kid's game, you know? I think though that Zooble is the least looking human one of the bunch. Zooble has 2 arms and 2 legs, but they also have like the weirdest balance in objects and color. Still very well realized, mind you. And the silhouette is still very, very strong, but it was always very fun to watch the complete juxtaposition between the design and the personality. If you see Zooble's design, minus the deadpan expression, you would probably assume that they're a very high energy character, very peppy, very fun, but then Zooble speaks and it's like,
well, shit, man. Guess that's the end of that.
Oh, it's one of, okay. Not a very active or willing participant for the most part. And again, I think that like Goose really excels with like making very, very strong silhouettes and very strong concepts. Zooble can also have like 4 arms, by the way. It's in the show, but in the original like concept artwork by Goose, there's like a little hole below one of the arms that she can put another pair down there.
You know, I'm starting to think...
Oh, my baby boy. I love Kinger. Kinger, I think, is my favorite character in the show. Kinger has probably the most wacky design outside of like Zooble, and also the one that looks the most like a desktop helper. It's a king chess piece, and it has very much in a digital era style floating arms.
Oh.
Hey! Kinger, you mother...
Usually, Kinger is a very, like, gangly figure, right? The design relies on it being super gangly, super long, and then the eyes are also, like, super asymmetrical and weird. Part of it is because of, like, the wacky design, but the other part of it is to kind of, like, make the character look insane, which, you know what? Yeah, we well realized. But for the most part, the thing that I like is that it's a fairly expressive design by itself, and it's also somehow managed to convey a fuck ton of emotion and expression. If you see the character in action, you'll know what I mean. There are times where like Kinger can stand up straight and talk very sensibly, but there's also many, many times where Kinger is just shrimping the fuck out. And I feel like the very long gangly silhouette really helps with that flexibility. I would say that out of all of the circus members, Kinger is the one that feels like the most like a digital entity. There's a reason for that. This stupid chess thing has actually been in the circus the longest.
Caine!
There you are! Welcome back, my skibbity sigmas!
Oh, creature. This is the only time I'm gonna do this for the circus, but I'm only just doing it because I love this character to bits. I'm sorry.
Shut up.
It's not because I find Caine attractive, I promise. It's because I genuinely love the character. Caine, as a concept, is a fascinating character. I've never thought to see an animated figure that was literally just dentures. Dentures with eyes. And when I first saw the pilot, I was like, how the fuck are they gonna animate this? But I was very pleasantly surprised to see that the animation team actually used the top row of the teeth as lip sync and also doubled as eyebrows. So Caine is probably the most expressive character, well, second only to Jax, in the circus, but Caine is also a main character and an antagonist at the same time. It's a very, very interesting take on the character.
Oh, Zooble, you mismatched cash piano, I'll tear you to pieces! Constructive criticism would be greatly appreciated.
Caine is an abstraction of a human, and if you watch the show, you'll know exactly why. But I like that for the most part, right up to the neck, the design is just a ringmaster. The shiny black pants, the cartoony gloves, the red tailcoat with like a perfect bow tie, the cane. And then if you get to the top, that's where the abstraction, that is called abstraction in character design, by the way. When you take an object and you actually break it down into something that you can turn into a character, they made a face out of dentures. It was like a wacky as fuck idea from Goose's part, and it actually worked out beautifully in the show. Especially with the 3D animation, they managed to actually deform the mesh of the top row of teeth to really serve the expressive parts of the character. Voice acting obviously helped a ton to sell Caine as a very expressive
Ow! You parasite!
being. But for me, I do think that the design is incredibly memorable. Caine is a character that can be either very wacky and almost lovable to,
Humans! They only think about themselves.
oh god. And there is something about the design that's a bit unhinged, isn't it? We don't normally like seeing people's teeth. Normally, when a human bares its teeth at you, it's almost always angry. So seeing just like the denture and the eyes is already kind of off-putting. But then you see how the character moves and it's like, oh, okay, well, I guess they're not so bad.
Why do you people torment me?
I really like Caine's design. I love the color scheme. The shape language that he has is actually very subtly threatening. The teeth are pretty angular, but also square. Also shows that Caine is a stubborn motherfucker. Caine also has like Dorito body, so there's a lot of triangles in the silhouette for this character. The tailcoat, the lapel on this coat, even the cane being like pointy also really helps. And also, I don't think I've seen Caine in a relaxed posture for the bulk of the show. Oh, Alex is watching. Hi, Alex! Love your work, honest to God. There's very few times when Caine has a relaxed posture in the show, and it kind of like shows the high energy nature of the character. Not to mention, Caine is an anxious character in his own weird way. But it was so much fun to watch. I actually really liked whenever Caine was on screen, even though I was like, oh boy, okay, what are we up to now? And the design, both the concept from Goose and the actual 3D realization, they're like a one-to-one match. It's very tricky to do this, by the way. If you are a character designer and you have to think about how you're going to put an object into 3D, you have to consider a lot of details, and that's why I think that Goose, she decided to make the character designs simple. I also really like how glamorous Caine is compared to the other people in the circus. I'm telling you guys my wacky ship now, I don't give a shit if you get mad at me. I actually kind of like Caine and Pomni, believe it or not.
What are you talking about?
Not like from the start of the show. I think that like Caine at the end of the show is a better match for Pomni than at the start of the show. I never shipped it with Jax. I had no ships in the circus except for Zooble and Gangle because obviously they're perfect together. But then when I got to the end of the show, I was like, you know what? I feel like Caine and Pomni could be something because I feel like Pomni is a lot of the humanity that Caine lacks. I know it's a rare ship, by the way, but design-wise, Caine is absolutely fabulous. Super fun character to watch in motion, the voice as well.
I'm so proud of you guys.
And I think that they did a great job translating the design from 2D to 3D.
On board! Let's go to the next adventure!
Explain to Daddy Bubble how bad thing.
I think that... Don't say that.
What is this chaos entity? I think Bubble is supposed to be not the blue AI straight out, although some people say that. I think Bubble's meant to be like Caine's insecurity about having taken the other AI.
You really were the lesser of the two.
The Bubble is,
Why are you like this?
A hilarious entity. And the design for it is actually so funny because it's a bubble. It's a bubble with pointy-ass teeth and, like, eyes in 2 different time zones. And that's it. That's the character design, mama. And again, a one-to-one rendition from Goose's work to the actual 3D realization. It's a literal thought bubble. It's a great character. But the design is actually painfully simple, which I actually like a lot. Big spoiler. This is barely a character, but I think that it's worth mentioning. They don't go into character about the blue AI, and you know what? I actually kind of prefer that. I like the mystery. It's a great design, though, because if you see Caine, Caine is, like, predominantly a very red color scheme, and the blue AI is just blue.
Jax, look, I know we don't get along, but
Congratulations. Remember when I told you guys that Pomni wasn't exactly the sad clown? It was Kaufmo. Even though Kaufmo's usually smiling, that's actually the funny thing. Now, Kaufmo, similar to Jax, has quite the juxtaposition of the fact that, like, the character design looks so unassuming. It looks like something you'd find in, like, Fall Guys. And then Cosmo speaks.
I'm fucking freaking out, dude.
Super deep, kind of douchey. A great time, though. Great character. Now, you'll notice that there's a little something on the side of the character there. This is what's known as an abstraction. When a human in the digital circus undergoes significant mental stress or I don't want to be alive anymore, upsetty, or any type of, like, isolation, really, the character that makes them up abstracts, and it becomes this absolute horror creature that's like a quadruped thing covered in eyes, right? Now, I'm not going over the abstraction designs specifically because they look very similar. All of them look almost like this. They have smooth versions when they're in the dark, but it's like a really good metaphor of how much bad mental health will fuck with your person, with your perception of how you see yourself and how others see you. I really like it, though, because it has, like, a very solid color scheme. It's like a little yellow clown. They have, like, the little blue ruffle. They have, like, the little pointed hat, the big buttons. When you think of a classic clown silhouette, this is usually what you get. But a clown with no nose, ironically enough. Not Pomni. Pomni is a jester. It's very, very different. But yeah, good design. Pretty simple. Gets the job done. I don't know what this is. I hate it. Wave, thank you. Like,
Wait,
Are you?
it's you.
Oh my god.
Okay, so Queenie is Kinger's wife. IRL as well. They found each other in the circus. And the design for Queenie is actually very similar to Kinger's. The only way that you can tell the difference between the two is because of color. So Queenie has a more dark stain on the wood that makes up the chest piece that is the head of the character. And unlike Kinger's eyes, where Kinger's right eye is higher than the left, Queenie's the opposite. Queenie's left eye is higher than the right. And Queenie also has a predominantly red silhouette. Also has the floating hands. Also, Goose, you're fucking evil. That's like an abstracted eye on that butterfly that, like, Queenie's holding in that fucking 2D render. Queenie also abstracted, which is why the abstraction version is there. Punch to the gut. And yeah, this is the reason why Kinger is a little bit insane in the show, is because Kinger saw Queenie abstract, and it kind of broke the chess piece forever. And yeah, a very, very cute character. Same concept as Kinger, but girly pop version, you could say. Very nice.
Have you ever done something that you regret?
Okay. Internet, I need to have a word with you. Because I have seen an ungodly amount of not safe for work of this frog. I don't know what happened. The furries took Ribbit and just decided to fucking go with it or what. Like, I actually really like Ribbit. I wish we would have seen more of Ribbit in the show. It's understandable why we didn't, but it's such a cute design. Fun fact, my favorite animals are rabbits, but I love frogs. And Ribbit is like my favorite way to represent a frog character, right? It's so painfully simple. Also naked. I know why people want to this frog, okay? It's because of the eyes. Big googly eyes and hips, mama. Also, bedroom voice.
Your secret's safe with me.
But I like the little froggy feet. I like that they gave the character rounded out fingertips like a frog deadass. I also really like that, similarly to Jax, this is a very old school type of cartoon art style for Ribbit. The giant eyes with like the big black pupils, the noodly limbs, the like kind of gangly body. I do like Ribbit and Jax more than Pomni and Jax, personally, although...
All right, So, if you ever tell anyone about this, I'm never speaking to you again. Sound good?
Yeah, I won't.
Awesome, bye.
Jax, you fumbled that bag. Still though, it's a very, very cute design. And again, incredibly great work from the animation team to adapt the 2D artwork into the 3D style. Looks absolutely beautiful. Why does the frog have cake? It barely has cake. That is not cake. That is a noodle. Chat, calm down. Oh, Gumigoo. I actually really like Gumigoo. This is the one I want for Pomni. If you saw the end of the show, you know for a fact that, like, Caine could just... I don't know if he could gank NPCs outside anymore, but, like, you know what? Fuck it. Give Pomni the stupid gator. Gummy alligators actually exist as a real candy, by the way, because I kind of want one. I like Gumigoo's design, though, because it's, again, super cute. It's just a gummy alligator, but it's so stupid expressive. I also love the texturing work that they did in the show that actually makes Gumigoo look like actual candy, and it's very Australian. Like, if the voice isn't enough,
These fellas just don't know when to quit, do they?
the fucking hat just kind of sells it. Super soft, like great silhouette, has like low-key kind of Dorito body, very furry coated, which is a lot of the characters in the circus are kind of furry coated. I love the 2D rendition of Gumigoo though, because it looks a lot angrier than the 3D one. If anything, I think that the 3D one actually made the silhouette for Gumigoo a little bit better, because Goose's original was not that wide on top. And I do think that, like, making it a little bit wider on top, it probably helped weigh the mesh for the character. You have to do this thing called weighing, so you can actually put skeletons on them, and so that the mesh doesn't distort when you animate it. So I think that, like, the wider shoulders on the 3D one definitely serve the character design better than the OG very lanky version. But super cute.
I gotta get used to this.
Oh, looks like one of these guys made it through.
Wait, what?
All right, we're moving into NPC territory. Abel. Abel fucking sent me. I actually hate this character. The design I love because the design is just like one of those like posable artist mannequins, but Abel drew a face in like the worst place because like that's not at all where your mouth would go, Abel. You look like a ditto, dipshit. Like, never got that raise. Yeah, get fucked. Disappearing guy, probably the funniest gag in this stupid show. I knew the joke was gonna happen immediately, but it always got me. I think that, like, Hubby and I were talking about it. The second half of the show kind of got rid of the comedy a little bit, and we wish it had kept it because gags like this were just so fucking funny. The disappearing guy is similar to Abel. It's also like a posable mannequin, but it's red, it has a cowboy hat, and whenever it goes into our room, it just fucking vanishes. The Gloink Queen and the Gloinks. The Gloink Queen is, a lot. This one actually did have a concept work, by Goose. Well, that was a lot more about Gloink reproduction than I'd ever thought I'd have to learn. Yeah, Pomni, I'm with you. Like,
What kind of mother do you think I am?
It's beautiful.
it's like a weird circusy creature, horror, terror, nightmare thing with two mouths. And the Gloinks are just like... I feel like this is what babies' nightmares must look like. Brightly colored, like not quite your toys, but like threatening and they're gonna eat you, you know? It does look like a Beetlejuice character. Yes, it does. Princess Loolilalu. I love this one. This one's so cute. This one also gets a triangle for me. The 2D to 3D is fucking perfect. The sprinkles, the dress made out of frosting, the like orange gummies making up her hair, the eyes being like super far apart, the fact that like her body's like a lollipop. It's like cake pop shoulder pads and then like a cake skirt with frosting and sprinkles. So cute, incredibly charming. Jax, you asshole.
Wait, you did what now?
Well, love to help you again sometime. Bye!
Jax, you bitch. But it's a very charming character. I feel like it was like meant to emulate the kind of like Candyland board game, but like a computer version of it. Why do I remember this one from Cuphead? Because there was a very similar character in Cuphead that was also like a candy queen slash princess. It's not like an uncommon archetype, believe it or not.
Hi, I'm Ghostly.
Ghostly, an absolute creature. Sure, it was really cute.
It's up to you to decide.
What? Jax!
With like a teardrop head and stupid ghosty body. But it also looks very digital, which is why I like the design for this character quite a bit. Aggressive woo mouth. I feel like the 2D artwork perfectly encapsulates the goblin levels of this creature. Very huggable. This one's not scary. Martha Mildenhall, very, very charming. We sadly don't get to see this character's full body in the show because they're like having tea around the table and we conveniently strapped Jax down. But this character is actually like a very classy ghost lady. This one actually reminds me quite a bit of the Luigi's Mansion ghost because it's like very cartoony humanoid, but it's done in like a shiny shade of green and does not have a very threatening vibe to it at all. Super pretty. Very, very sweet character too.
Don't mention it. Feel free to visit anytime.
Definitely.
Even if you're not going to show the full body in the shot, you should have a full body designed. Just in case. Evil big tops.
Sup, I'm Evil Pomni.
I like that Evil Pomni has fangs, but the evil big tops, what they are in essence, is just like color swapped and personality swapped versions of the circus members. The Zooble is really dumb, Ragatha is really mean, Jax is just like a sweetie, and Kinger just became Dallin for some reason. I don't know why Gangle, for some reason, did not merit having an evil version.
Why don't I get an evil clone?
Sun, oh! I love this character. The sun shows up at the start of the show, and then it shows up in like the beach episode for like 2 seconds, but it's so unhinged and so fucking out of left field, it's never not gonna make me laugh.
I don't want a sunburn.
Should have thought of that before I decided I hate you.
Like Ragatha is like, yeah, just ignore it. But again, it's like the sun from the Teletubbies. It's just like a very like abstracted version of the sun with like a little smiley face on it, but it's aggressive. It's aggressive. The moon is the sweetest thing ever. And again, it's a 2D object in a 3D space, so there's no 3D model for the moon. I love the moon. The moon has a really nice voice.
Hello, Caine. I love you.
The moon kind of reassures Caine a little bit at the end of the show because Caine was like, wait, I didn't program you to like me. And the moon is like, doesn't matter, I still do.
I know.
Like, the moon is sweet, and I like the moon a lot. Chad, another gummy skeleton. Gumigoo actually had, like, the gang of idiots, right? Chad is actually a more lanky version of Gumigoo. The 3D model is similar, but this one actually has just very long limbs, and it's kind of like gangly and noodly in general, and the color scheme is like more orangey red. I just really want gummies now. I like that this one has like fangs on its hat and like the little bandana, but it seems like really dopey, which I find sweet, personally. And then Max, which is the other member of Gumigoo's crew, which is a chunky boy. A chunky gummy gator. Super cute. I love the vest and the little hat, and I think that Max doesn't know where he is.
Good to see you, lads.
Okay, first of all, Goose, what is that artwork? Why is it so shiny in the 2D render? Orbsman has like nothing in there. And like, it literally is the name. A man made of orbs. Again, super old school 2000s computer game character coded. Back when like 3D modeling was new and we still had no idea how to make people, but we had to make abstractions of people. This is what we ended up with. You can tell this is like one of those things that Caine conceptualized very early on as the circus was like made. Because like, yeah, it's actually really, really hard to 3D model humans. Fun fact, because the face is a whole fucking story. Oh, this fucking thing. The scream I screamed, chat.
You look beautiful, honey.
This was literally the one episode that had me thinking, wait, did Goose make this a horror show? Because it was like, oh yeah, haha, Middlehead Manor, it's gonna be funny. And then this thing shows up and I was like, ugh. This is not Fred Shade. This is actually a phenomenal horror character design concept. The eyes that are like super far away from each other, the deformed mouth, the gangly, disgusting wings with eyes all over it, very janky, lanky movements, super long fingers, super long legs. Like, this thing is like old school internet horror at its finest. It's like analog horror. Like, this should be an SCP. Like, they're in Theodore Mildenhall. Oh, okay. You guys know like the sexy ghost lady? Husband. The Baron should be a ghost as well. But we mainly see the character in this design, which is like a dried up human husk. Ironically, I think the best human Caine has actually managed to create is just a corpse, which tells you a lot about Caine, honestly. And this character is portrayed by this and the tape recorders. Like, if he's in hell, how did he record the tape? Like, no one knows, okay? Don't think about it.
Please don't come alive.
Okay, I won't.
Assuming makes an ass out of you and Ming! And this is Ming.
And I really don't appreciate what your assumptions have done to my reputation.
Ming is another mannequin NPC, but this one has googly eyes. I love Ming. The fudge! Okay, the illustration for the fudge tells you a lot about the character.
Oh, they were so delicious. Sometimes I can hear them calling to me.
I have have to wonder, Goose, did you play Conker's Bad Fur Day? Because if you did, I know exactly where you got the inspiration for this character. Like,
I am the great mighty Pooh, and I'm going to throw my shit at you.
But it's just like a creature of chocolate. I'm sorry, how are you eating candy, people? I would like to eat that. Like, it's just chocolate and candy corn and jawbreakers. All three candies that I like, okay? Very simple, very straight to the point. We'll eat the candy townspeople if given the key. Jax.
You must be some kind of master of unlocking.
Dude, you ruined it. That is so fucking funny though. I hate these. Like, this is like when 3D modeling was at its infancy. This looks like characters from Shark Tale.
Guys, I don't want to die. Please don't go.
Why is La Bouble?
That's my cousin. La Boob. The Alan Silent.
Merch character. Oh yeah, the amount of merch for the Digital Circus is actually fucking insane at this point. I'd be willing to bet.
Is this guy gonna be okay? We should call an ambulance. This is bad.
Spanish done with the shenanigans of chat, giving him shit when he misses the one globshito. But yeah, Bubble is just Bubble in plushy form. I kind of want it. Can I still get this? I kind of want one.
Who's that character? That's right. It's Meat Lad.
Meat Lad. Meat Lad.
Was this also from the shorts? Spanish, is this like malicious compliance to an unhealthy degree? It's terrible though. Goose, what the fuck? Ew.
No, don't, please. Forgive me, but no one must look under there.
Why? What are you hiding?
I'm glad you asked. Let me show you.
I'm the machine! I grant your every desire! Toss some material into my hole!
Oh, this is from the shorts. This is the machine that turns stuff into merch. Why does it look bloody?
I suck! You receive!
It has tiny arms. It's very off-putting. The big googly eyes are fucking sending me though. Don't worry about it.
I can quit whenever I want!
Jonesy was in the ad for Fortnite. Jonesy counts, so that's why Jonesy's invited to this party. Malicious complied. My poor editor is losing their shit, okay. Okay, Scratch, actually, believe it or not, this character is way more important than it seems. This is actually the first person that actually ended up in the circus. Scratch is the first abstraction, and yeah, the one who came up with like the headset that every character mentions when they enter the circus. Yeah, this is him. And fun fact, Scratch is the only abstraction that did not happen from mental English. Caine accidentally fucked it up. Scratch Hover is another incredibly simple character design, which is just like an anthro dog in a red t-shirt and the gloves. It's very like classic cartoony. Bisco. Okay, another character that abstracted. The reason why the 3D model is from the back and all that junk in the trunk is that that's the only time you see Bisco, actually. Minus the concept art that Goose made and the crossed out sign on the door. I like Bisco's design though. I think it's very cute. It's like an egg timer. Spike, another one of the original players, which was just like a Barney the dinosaur type of vibe. Kind of reminds me of like the Lernosaurus, although this predates it, I believe. Ratty! Again, another one where we only see the back. Yes, this was a human. Yes, this abstracted to filth. I wonder why. If I looked like a rat, I would also lose my sanity. Wormo. It's just like one of those like wormy things that chase balls. Wormo, it's cute. It's just an unhinge. Absolute fucking globshito hours. Spanish, this was not necessary. You don't need to put the Chinese room NPC in there. Another mannequin with just artificial Chinese dictionary. The only thing the Chinese guy was doing was passing just Chinese symbols under the door to Caine. At like one line of dialogue exactly.
Oh, thank God.
Dr. Full, I don't even remember this. Oh wait, hold on. You were in the pilot. Like Pomni opened the door to this room and like it looked at her and then it was horrible. I like that it's just like in a bathtub that's not even full. Like the bottom of that tub is missing. Mama, because digital. Barrel monkeys. Didn't the abstracted Kaufmo fucking like destroy these? Do you guys ever play with a barrel of monkeys? They were actually a really fun kids toy. I actually like them. But this is like a low poly scuffed digital version of them.
Additional voices. That's my name. First name last.
Spanish. Yeah, like when I tell Spanish, like, hey, I want the characters in Digital Circus, Spanish went, bet, and so everyone is here. The cookie butterfly. What the fuck is this here, Spanish? These are things that were all in the show, but like somehow Spanish decided if I don't put this in here, people are gonna have my wig. You know what? Bet. Fair. The gummy elephant. I'm actually really glad you put this in here because I like the design. It was so stupid. The gummy elephant made me happy. It's pink and it's really doofy and stupid and it kind of like gives me Adventure Time vibes and it's just silly. No ears, it's just gummy. Jeffrey, who the fuck is Jeffrey? Intermission guy. Is this one of Caine's eyes? Like, the worst part is that you're probably gonna be missing a globshito or two anyway. Oh no, the centipede is here. Okay, I did. I'm with Ragatha on this. I hate them. I hate the shrimp. Oh, this one. I love this NPC for the 2 seconds it was on screen. It's just like an anthro shrimp, and then the sun fucking killed it.
You're welcome.
An ebi fry, and then. Now, the abstractions for me were fascinating concepts, right? Because an abstraction in the digital circus is what happens when your mentals get really, really bad. Usually in isolation, which is why most abstractions are actually found in people's rooms. The reason why Caine is so adamant that everybody have an adventure and have a good time is because when people aren't happy in the circus, they become this. So far as we know, there's no reversing this because you can't fix a corrupted file. I have copium in my veins that at some point these might be fixable, but it would probably take another 2 seasons of the show to figure out how, and I don't know if Caine is powerful enough to do that anymore. Still though, the concept of a person's mind getting so frayed in the digital universe that they essentially corrupt themselves is fascinating to me. It's very much giving I have no mouth and I must scream. You lose your sense of self entirely. In the light, they're very jagged, very angular. They corrupt everything that they touch. They can fuck with other circus members if you're not careful. And they are usually docile in the dark. Well, you can actually tame them, but the only known one that's been tamed is Jax. And for the most part, they're just big, black, high polygon masses with a lot of eyes. And the thing I want you guys to know is that the silhouette is super chaotic. There's nowhere for your eye to rest. It's a fuck ton of color, it's a fuck ton of lines. However, it makes really good use of high contrast and shape language and a lot of colors to kind of like just show the internal chaos that the character is going through. The show does deal with mental illness up to a point, yes. And I think that it's a very good visual metaphor to what happens to your brain when you're not feeling yourself, when you're depressed, when you're feeling manic, when things just don't quite go your way, your perception of yourself changes, and that shit can fuck you up so bad, chat. And I also like that the dark seems to be a metaphor that if you take a step back and think about it, even if your brain is a mess, you can still breathe. But yeah, the abstractions are great, and I think with that, that's everybody in the circus, isn't it? I actually love this show. If you guys haven't watched it, do make sure you give it a look. And if you do, don't watch this video until you're done with it, because otherwise you're gonna get spoiled. Regardless, if you guys like this video, like, comment, subscribe. Did you watch the Digital Circus? Did you like it? But let me know in the comments. Remember, if I said anything that made you emgy, it's just rage bait, baby Suze. Also, listen, Jax, I know we don't get along, but have you tried out Gamer Subs? It's delicious, high energy, so many flavors. Not to mention, each one of these little tubs has 100 servings. A ridiculous amount of energy. Go get some Gamer Subs. Use code KingAmation at checkout for 10% off your entire order.